Greetings, fellow Whovians. Hope you have a good week so far. Well, I'm back to one of my, normal locations anyway. So anyway, let's continue and look at the Fifth Doctor era with Enlightenment. Following interference from both the White and Black Guardians, the Fifth Doctor materializes the TARDIS in what appears to be the hold of an Edwardian yacht. The Doctor senses something is amiss. The human crew have no idea how they got there, nor where they are, but know they are helping their captain to run a race. The Doctor and his companions, Tegan and Turlough, discover that the ship, and several other historical Earth ships, are competing in a solar sail race through the solar system. The ship's officers reveal themselves to be Eternals, compared to the Doctor and the humans as ephemerals, I guess. The Eternals live in the, quote, trackless wastes of eternity, and rely on the ephemerals for their thoughts and ideas. This race is being run by the Guardians to win Enlightenment, the wisdom to know everything. Gee, wouldn't we all want that? The Doctor finds that the Eternals have made his TARDIS vanish, forcing him and his companions to stay until the race's conclusion. Yeah, I wonder how long that's gonna take. As the race continues, several of the vessels are destroyed by explosions. The Doctor suspects that the crew aboard the Buccaneer, a 17th century pirate ship, responsible, as it was the closest vessel at the time of destruction. Turlough, while attempting to escape control of the Black Guardian, ends up aboard the Buccaneer, and meets the Eternal Captain Rack, learning she too was working for the Black Guardian. He finds equipment aboard her ship that appears to be the source of the device destroying the other ships, and hears the Black Guardian's voice nearby. Later, Rack offers the Edwardian officers a reception aboard her ship. During the reception, Turlough demonstrates the equipment to the Doctor, while Rack presents Tegan with a tiara with a red crystal. After the reception and continuation of the race, the Doctor sees the Buccaneer nearing the Edwardian ship, and determines that the red crystal is used as a focal point of the weapon, and gets rid of the tiara before Rack can destroy the ship. Whew! Nearing the end of the race, the solar winds dissipate and the Buccaneer pulls ahead of the Edwardian ship. Not wishing to see Rack win, the Eternals return the TARDIS to the Doctor, allowing him to travel to the Buccaneer. However, he is captured. And Rack's first mate suggests that the Doctor and Turlough be thrown overboard. From the Edwardian ship, Tegan and the others watch as two bodies are ejected from the Buccaneer just before it crosses the finish line. The ships and their human crews are returned to Earth, and the Guardians dismiss the other Eternals. It is revealed that the Doctor won the race, with Rack and her first mate having suffered, quote, an unfortunate accident. The Doctor refuses the prize, but as Turlough helped the Doctor, he is entitled to a portion of the prize. The Black Guardian reminds Turlough of their bargain, and says that he can give up the diamond, or sacrifice the Doctor to gain both Enlightenment and the TARDIS. Turlough hurls the diamond at the Black Guardian, who vanishes in screams and flames. The Doctor points out that Enlightenment was not the diamond, but the choice itself. To commemorate the show's 20th anniversary, every story during Season 20 included the return of an enemy from the Doctor's past. During this trilogy, begun in the serial Modern Undead and concluding with Enlightenment, the enemy was the Black Guardian, who was thus encountered by the fourth incarnation of the Doctor at the conclusion of the Key to Time saga in the 1979 serial The Armageddon Factor. The story also saw the return of the White Guardian, who had also not been seen since 1979. Interesting. Anyway, let's look at some production elements here, shall we? After penning a number of radio and TV scripts, including episodes of Crossroads and Waggoner's Walk, Barbara Clegg submitted a story idea to Doctor Who script editor Eric Sayward, an acquaintance from the BBC drama department. Interested in writing for this series, Clegg had been inspired when distant relatives had stayed with her and demanded constant entertainment during their visit, basing the character of the Eternals upon them. Initially entitled The Enlighteners, her submission involved ships racing through space that, with the addition of the Black Guardian subplot, eventually evolved into the story as screened. Sayward and series producer John Nathan Turner liked Clegg's ideas, and they commissioned the script in September 1981. The first episode was delivered by Clegg in October, and the 3 following episodes arrived in January 1982. The serial was now scheduled to conclude the 3-story trilogy featuring the Black Guardian, and Clegg duly wrote the recurring characters into her scripts. By May 1982, there were problems with the script by Pat Mills, Song of the Space Whale, which had been intended to open the Black Guardian trilogy. Mills' script was eventually dropped, and the production team considered moving the aligners forward in the season to replace it, necessitating considerable rewrites. Peter Grimwood was eventually commissioned to write Mawdryn Undead to replace the Song of the Space Whale, and The Aligners was confirmed as the 5th serial of the season. The first draft of Part 1 did not contain any of the material concerning the Guardians, and Turlough was a peripheral figure, with the script focusing on the relationship between Mariner and Tegan. With pre-production underway, Seward changed the story title to Enlightenment in September 1982, a title he felt was more enigmatic. Seward also rewrote portions of the script pertaining to the story arc, particularly the final confrontation scenes at the end of Part 4. Peter Moffat had been originally scheduled as the series director, but following the problems with the Space Whale script, he was asked to helm its replacement due to his experience, so Fiona Cumming was asked to take over Enlightenment. Once production began, it became apparent that Part 1 and Part 2 were underrunning, so more dialogue was written to fill in the time. It was originally intended that the character of Jackson would not reappear after the second episode, but during filming, Seward became concerned that it appeared that he had been executed, and so he and Clegg rewrote Part 3 to include him. Part 3 also looked to be underrunning, so scenes from Part 4 were brought forward, and the final scenes with the Guardians were extended to compensate. Cumming came up with the idea that the Eternals would not blink, and cast actors who she believed could provide detached performances. Cumming recalled Peter Sallis had played a similarly detached character in the 1974 BBC drama The Plisters, and cast him in the role of Stryker. Sallis was present during the rehearsals for the serial, but when production was delayed, he was unavailable for the new filming dates, being committed to filming Last of the Summer Wine, and was forced to drop out of the production, being replaced by Keith Barron. Linda Barron was cast as Captain Rack, having previously participated in Doctor Who in the 1966 serial The Gunfighters, as the voice that sings the Ballad of Last Chance Saloon, heard throughout the story. Tony Conter, who had previously played Thatcher in The Crusade and Morgan in Colony in Space, was given the role of Jackson, with Christopher Brown and David Rule being cast as Mariner and Rack's sidekick Mansell, respectively. Similarly to Sallis, David Rule was unavailable for the Vice filming dates in January, so singer Lee John replaced him at short notice, despite having no previous acting experience. I wonder if it showed. Valentine Dyal had also originally played the Black Guardian in the 1979 serial The Armageddon Factor, the character's first appearance in the series, and reprised the role for season 20, appearing in Mawdryn Undead, Terminus, and Enlightenment. Similarly, Cyril Luckham reprised the role of the White Guardian he had previously played in the 1979 serial The Rybos Operation. The interior sets of the boats were not built specifically for the program, but were pulled together from stock items from various prop warehouses. Cumming had originally hoped to simulate the rocking of the ships by mounting the sets on rollers, but the idea was dropped due to costs, with the effect achieved by moving the cameras instead. The photo of Tegan's Aunt Vanessa, Williams created by Mariner for the contents of her mind, was shot specifically for the filming, requiring Delora Whiteman, who had played the character in Logopolis, to be contracted for a one-day photo shoot. The models of the boats, used in the racing scenes, were prop sourced by visual effects designer Mike Kelt, following extensive research at the National Maritime Museum. Nice! The ships are mounted on rods for filming, while the oars were battery-operated. The model of Davy's ship remained intact, with explosion being a filmed effect that was edited into the sequence. Kelt was shocked by the dilapidated state of the TARDIS console prop, and was worried about damaging it while filming the explosion for Part 1, and asked producer Jonathan Turner if he could replace it, but told there was no money available. Wah wah. The anachronistic wetsuits on the boarding ship were actually heavy-duty overalls that had been painted black. Jenna Fielding struggled with the low-cut ball gown she wore during filming, as it threatened to expose her breasts on a number of occasions. The ball gown worn by Barron was made especially for the serial and was the most expensive costume on display. The newspaper found by the Doctor in Part 1 was a reprint of the Times from September 1901, while the food and drink served during the party scenes was all real. Interesting. The serial began principal filming in early November 1982, with filming divided into two main blocks. The first block was shot and filmed at Ealing Studios between the 3rd to the 5th November and consisted of the deck scenes and a number of model shots. Actor Mark Strickson was injured while filming the scene of Turlough throwing himself overboard, though the Kirby wire he was suspended from broke, leaving him only able to walk with difficulty for several weeks. The studio work was scheduled to run from November 6 until mid-December and consisted of all the interior scenes and those in the TARDIS. By mid-November, however, the Electricians' Union, the EEPTU, had begun strike action, which disrupted the filming of a number of BBC productions, including Enlightenment, potentially meaning the final 3 serials of the season would have to be abandoned. The Electricians' dispute was settled by December, but had badly affected the series' recording schedule. The crew were able to shoot the following serial, The King's Demon, on schedule, meaning that there was only one recording block left for the part completed Enlightenment and Eric Sayward's season finale, The Return. With some filming already completed, and its importance in concluding the Black Guardian story arc, it was decided that Enlightenment should take precedence, and so it had its second production block moved to January 1983, while The Return was abandoned. Due to the delays, the serial only finished filming around a month before its transmission date, meaning that composer Malcolm Clarke only received the first episode for scoring a week before broadcast, having to rely on musical cues he had recorded weeks earlier without having seen any footage. Yikes. Well, let's move on to, themes and interpretation. Writer Barbara Clegg based the Internals on a wealthy group of her relatives, who upon visiting her had demanded constant entertainment, treating other family members almost as, quote, lesser beings. Clegg also drew inspiration from the Bible's book of Genesis, deriving the prize of enlightenment from the tree of knowledge within it. While having read about solar winds, she decided to use them as the basis of propulsion for space vessels. Clegg highlighted the nature of enlightenment, showing it not to be knowledge, as the Eternals believe, but wisdom, as demonstrated by Turtle's rejection of the Black Guardian. The episode makes a regular trope from science fiction: bored, godlike beings playing with the lives of mortals for the purpose of amusement. In their book, About Time, Lawrence Miles and Tad Wood likened this to a prevalent strand of children's fiction, where magical worlds are held together by the rules of the children who visit them. Miles and Wood also highlight the political elements of the story, likening the portrayal of the Eternals to the view of upper classes as, quote, effete parasites feeding off the labor, and in this case the imagination, of the proles. The Doctor, then, acts as part of the class struggle, helps the workers gain freedom while the gentry get their comeuppance. In his essay, Love as a Stranger, published in the first volume of the Doctor Who magazine, special edition, David Bailey highlights the central idea that, quote, the lives of little people are precious, special and worth fighting for. The Eternals may have unimaginable power at their fingertips, but they lack, and are jealous of, one thing: the ability to live and die. The hollowness of immortality was a thread that ran through season 20, with the early story Modron Undead showing Modron trapped in an endless cycle of painful regeneration, while in The Five Doctors, Bruce's prize of immortality results in little more than a living death. The horror of eternal life is brought home when the Black Guardian threatens Turlough with immortality as a punishment for failure, something that drives him to try and commit suicide rather than face eternity. Whew, that's, interesting, I guess. So, overall, this is a pretty interesting story and an interesting way to conclude the Black Guardian trilogy. So, overall, I give Enlightenment 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we take a look at the King's Demons. I bet he has a lot of them. So until then, this is Hooving Queen saying, oh my, get out! When I say run, run! I'm versa polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo! Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.